And welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. You know this already. I know this, Virgo. However, for those of you that don't know, I like to go deep within my readings. So we don't just look at what goes on the surface. We do look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, see how they play out as karmic themes within your experience. Gives you an opportunity to finally break a karmic cycle by seeing what your core beliefs are and what the behaviorisms and habits are and how you and your person trigger each other. Once you have new awareness, you're able to incorporate different habits into your life to deal with the situation, and that shape shifts the entire situation. This is why they say that there's many different realities that play in at one time. Just the same as if you went left instead of right, your experiences would be different because you would meet different people along the way, and that would cause you to do different things. And that is what inevitably creates your karma, right? It's your thoughts and your actions that create. Unfortunately, when we have spiritual blocks, we're coming more from a wounded place and not from the higher self. The higher self is the God part of self. That's the part of self that there's this inner knowing, this higher knowledge where we know that we're here to be much more than what we are, that we're supposed to be an expression of love. However, we're all born into very imbalanced environments and wind up in imbalanced relationships, and we wind up getting stuck in a karmic loop. And that karmic loop is that karmic theme that continues to play out within our life, whether we're with the same partner, we're with a different partner. It's just, even if we're not even in a relationship, that karmic theme can play out in non-sexually intimate relationships. Because again, the theme would be victimization, shame, betrayal. So again, these readings give you an opportunity to heal. Now, if you are new to the channel, anything of any importance, relevance to the channel, including my subscriptions to my shadow healing coaching programs, you'll find them in the description box below. $7.99 a month, $7.99 a month. You get inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to heal the effects of trauma. And that's huge because what happens is detachment, disassociation disorder. So the body and mind don't work together. So if you were someone that was conditioned in a place of like trauma, right? Like there was a lot of dysfunction, then there's a lot of automatic behaviorisms that need to be broken, and you would actually also need to retrain your nervous system because again, your amygdala would be swollen, and the amygdala's job is to sense out any outside stimuli that corresponds with your trauma. So unconsciously, we're trained to look for it. And how do you manifest? Through the thoughts that you think and the emotions that you have. So this is, again, what also triggers that automatic behaviorism. So doing healing is not just about the awareness, it's actually also about the transmutation of the negative energy, which is it's when we integrate the spiritual lesson by doing different things so we can see ourselves differently, so we can see our situation differently. And a lot of times, obviously, that changes the dynamic of the relationship all the time. It changes the dynamic of the relationship. However, sometimes the person just is not on a high enough vibration where they'll fall out of your life and you'll attract other people into your life, or you wind up getting someone that actually steps it up, evolves, because unconditional love makes us do things that we normally wouldn't do. It makes us heal because it makes us first look at ourselves and analyze ourselves. And that is really what healing is all about. It's introspection. All right. Now, again, this message is going to be for Virgo. If you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you must like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is the underlying energy that is dictating why everyone's doing what they're doing. That's very helpful for when we look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and the inner child wounds. Okay, let's see what that word is. Maybe give it a little. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Okay, intolerance, intolerance. I feel like you've gotten to see this labyrinth. It's like a maze. I feel like you've been in like a maze, and but it wasn't a meditative one. Like a labyrinth is a spiritual, and it helps us go inside of ourselves. I feel like you've been in separation with someone for some time and had a lot of time to look at the situation from a different perception, and you're like just not tolerant to their behavior. You're not tolerant to anybody's behavior that treats you with disrespect. And the person that's connected to you knows it, and knows that you're not playing. I feel like they might have not known it, but they also feel like you're at peace with it. Because again, going inside of yourself, the labyrinth is a meditation. And so they can feel that you're calm about it, that you and this person have a very strong spiritual connection where they can feel you when you're mad, they can feel you when you're happy, they can feel you. And I feel like vice versa. Sometimes you guys confuse it as if it's your own energy. So this person could be mad at you and then you're tapped into them and then you get angry. So this person is always thinking about you. And what they feel is you're calm, you're okay with it. And that's, again, creating a lot of anxiety. That is actually making them look at themselves, which is, again, going inside of oneself. But the energy is really like, you're done. You're done. So let's see what the hidden truths are, what your person feels about you right now. Let's see. I'm going to give that a shuffle too. I feel you, even though we're apart. That's what I was saying. Again, there's very strong spiritual connection, past life connection. So this person knows you without knowing you, and vice versa. Just being near you is intoxicating. They get very overwhelmed. This is a true connection for this person. They like things on the surface normally. And the truth of the matter is that you make them look at life different. You make them look at their own life. I feel like they thought that their life was fine before they met you. I really do. It's like, but now that you're gone out of their life, they see the difference. Now you have this person's attention. I feel like for a long time, whatever energy they gave you is the energy you tried to give them back. And it really didn't change the energy because they're used to that. They're used to being a player, they're used to playing games. This person is freaked out because they know that you are like over it, and also that they're being forced to do something. It's either do something or get the fuck out. That's the energy right now. Either do something different. And I feel like they know that time is running out. I don't know why this person is it moving, but we'll find out. I'm grateful for the spiritual lesson. I've been getting that a lot lately. I don't think this person knew anything about spirituality before. I feel like they grew up in a very religious household, dogmatic practice. So they were actually told to stay away from spirituality, to stay away from psychics, to not trust life coaches, to not really trust themselves, but to pray to something outside of themselves, which has always, made them feel as if they were a phony because they didn't feel it. I feel like they're someone that's an empath, but they didn't have the strength to stand up to their family. And so what it is you're showing them a whole different way of living. You're showing them a new perception. And that's why it's intoxicating too, because it's like, oh, like, right, when we see it's on a different way and our intuition triggers us. And that's what's really happening. Your person doesn't really listen to their intuition. They totally navigate their life through very logical and analytical thinking. However, they have wounds. So what they think is kind of distorted. And so, like, they're actually listening to their higher self now. And so what's happening is it is giving them energy, because just like when your intuition, it triggers you, there's a call to action, right? Right after. So it's giving your person ideas, and I feel like how to approach you, but also how they could live their life. And so, of course, it's intoxicating. And you're associated with that because they see that that's the way that you live. Where I don't think that this person took you seriously when they met you because you were a little over the top for them, a little foo-foo, a little like, again, if you're into spirituality, you know the lingo, you talk the lingo. Maybe some of your friends, trying to shut my phone off, it's distracting. um so again, some of your friends, some of the things that you did, like you, there's a freedom within you that makes this person feel uncomfortable because they don't have it inside of themselves. It actually triggers this person. Like you might be someone that's out in the field with a tambourine, like dancing, and this person is like, I could never do that. I could never do that. Look at like that's, you look ridiculous. Aren't you nervous that you're doing that? And you're like, no, I'm having a good time. So just different perceptions, where this person is really conservative and I don't really feel like you are conservative. So what they're seeing is opposites maybe do attract, and really I have no control over who I love, because this would not look good on paper, just for the record. Like I'm going to get judgment for being with you. But it's again making them dig deep inside of themselves to, is what do I want? I wish I could share my good news with you. They're making changes in their life, because it's almost like once you see something different and know something, you can never go back. And so even though this person feels like you're disgusted with them, and that you're over it, there's a sense like they're also like, I need to come back different, and I can't come back the same exact way. And I'm going to try and emulate how you live. I'm going to try and emulate so that we can actually, so you can actually see me with you, because I just showed you who I am, and I'm sure that you look at me the same way that I looked at you, but for different reasons. I don't think that you looked at them like they were an asshole because of how they were acting. You weren't really looking at them. Uh, well, let's see how you were looking at them. Let's look at your triggers. Let's look at the triggers. Again, like the not letting go fully of a past person. It's like putting me on hold, making me feel like I'm second best. It's like like I need to like cater to you because somebody else is kind of controlling your life because they don't really want to let you go, and you feel subservient to that because you haven't given me the time. So that would trigger anybody, right? Again, trapped and pretending like I feel like you felt trapped because you're like, I love this person, I love you, and you're keeping me stuck in this place of limbo, and you're okay with it. But I also feel like your person's like, I'm trapped, I'm trapped. Right? They weren't trapped. They weren't trapped. Their own mind was trapped. It was almost like better to be with the devil that you know. That's the energy there. Like again, better to be with the devil that I know, because I mean I love you and I can feel the depth of our connection, and it's a connection that I'm really unfamiliar with. I've never had this. I normally have, my relationships are conducted very much like business, where yeah, I like there's the sex and there's like that emotional connection but in exchange I'm giving a lot, to the point that sometimes it's draining, and it's like I'd rather not even be in the connection because I feel obligated. Where with you, they're like, I don't have to do anything. This connection is just here. And that's their mind thinking, to be honest with you. It's a little bit like we have this soulmate twin flame connection that is so intense. I don't really have to do anything because you're going to be right there. So that's also how you feel. And you're like, I feel trapped because there is this passion and there is a sense of, I feel like we're supposed to, there's a knowing that both of you are going to be together. Both you guys know this, because both of you guys are able to tap into each other. But then this person didn't feel like they needed to do anything. And the whole time they're doing for the ex, because, well, that person's acting like a damsel in distress. That person makes them feel bad. But it's also kind of feeding your person's ego, because they would have to go into the unknown if they're going to be with you and really 100% leave that karmic behind, because it's over. It's like, it's not like they even feel, but it's not even like they want a relationship with that person. It's like, I just know that you're there in this kind of like a buffer. And you're like, oh no. It's like, because that buffer is not even a buffer. It takes into my time. You haven't done anything for me because of that person there. So they're a little bit getting manipulative, but it's also they were codependent, and like I said, change. They don't like the change. Again, and always triggering you, like, okay, like, I feel like you're cheating. And even if you're not cheating on me, you're emotionally cheating, because you're not giving me the time. You're giving somebody else the time, someone that you say that you're not connected to, because you feel comfortable, but then you're keeping me like at afar, because you just know that we're going to be together. We have this. It's like you're getting penalized for it. This isn't good at all. This is how a relationship really winds up in a shit can. I mean, like, literally, because it's like your insecurity. You have feelings for me, but it's like, but who's benefiting? The karmic. There's nothing here. Please contact me. I may not respond, but knowing you care opens my heart. That's why it's like you're done. You're like, oh yeah, you want me to reach out to you, but you're still not done there. And it's not that, not even like this person has feelings. It's like they must have something, like children together, finances together, something together, like, or that karma did something for your person to make their life a little bit easier. There's some weird tie where they feel responsible. And, the karmic knows exactly what they're doing. And I feel like your person is starting to realize past lives are influencing our connection. I've lost you in other lifetimes, and that makes me afraid. I need to heal the grief to allow the love to bloom. So it's, again, the grief of really past relationships. I mean, as I said, you guys are a past life connection. That's why there's such a strong spiritual connection. And they didn't treat you well in past life. That's why we incarnate again, and to play out these karmic themes. And they are, where your person still is not strong enough. It's like they're awakening to it. As twin flames, we are here to ascend and help others to do the same. So again, they know that they're supposed to do something with you. They know this. And they also know that they just feel you're stronger. It's almost like the energy is like if you grew up in a house where there was other siblings, and each sibling was known to do something good. So maybe the oldest one, it like got a lot of responsibility. Take care of your younger brothers, take care of this, take care of that. But the older sibling is like, well, who's actually taking care of me? It's like I'm getting penalized, and I'm supposed to like continue to be kind to someone where you're depleting me, because you automatically know that we're going to be together. Like, this is it, to the point that you don't really want to be with this person anymore. And they know it. They finally are getting it, because they're finally looking and being like, I've been here the whole time. Yeah, this isn't good. I'm listening to my higher self now. Yeah, like I said, that's like, I can't, I'm not lying to you at all, because you see the cards flipping out themselves. It's like now they're finally getting it. That's why I said that it's intoxicating, because it's like they don't really want to feel prisoner to this person. It's just the karma keeps on doing it. And they finally awakened, but they awakened to the point that it's been a long time and they can still feel you. So they're like, well, we do have that connection, but they know you're over it. They know that they're going to have to do so much. The next solstice or equinox will bring an important shift for us. So this person plans on coming to you in the springtime with an offer. But it's like, I don't know whether you're going to take it. I feel like there's a part of you that's like, fuck off. Fuck off. Like you're going to make this person really like work for it and they know it. Don't be tempted to disconnect from source. Our connection to source is a love and healing we require for reunion. So again, what they're saying is this unconditional love, which twin flame connection is God, right? Because the deity part of self is the God part of self, because we all are made up of this part of ourself, because we all have spirit inside of us. That was God's gift to us, the Holy Spirit. So that part of ourself is perfect. However, the thing is, your person, like, again, needs healing. It's obvious because they were trapped this whole time, but that person was never really trapping them. They were just manipulating, keeping them stuck up in their head, making them guilt, feeling like they had to. And again, listening to them, where the karmic was like, that person's strong, that person doesn't really need you. That person, she or he will come for you. Like manipulating them to the point that your person like lost themselves in it. And that's why you're like, I don't care. And they're like, please don't disconnect. Please don't disconnect. But you're like, fuck off. This is the energy there. It's like you're like pissed and they know it. And they're like, they have a lot of anxiety about it. They didn't expect how much. And they're like, they see, I just fucked up my twin flame relationship, my person that I was supposed to be with. I almost see them sitting on the bed, like sobbing, crying. They can't believe it. And this is what happened. These are the hidden truths. We looked at those already. I want to look and see what this person's going to do. And then we're going to see why you attracted this person into your life. But when I tap into them, I feel like they have so much anxiety because they can feel your rage. Like, how fucking dare you disrespect? That's the energy there. And they're like, oh, she's or he is done with me. And it's because the whole time I might have not been cheating, but emotionally I've been getting from this person advice and I've been giving to that person. And the karmic knows it. The karmic knows it. That was their plan. So you almost are like, well, fuck you and fuck you. Like, it's almost like I feel like you're like, I want to be with him or her just so you be like, fuck you, you didn't win. Again, almost triggered like that. And then also like, and I don't even want to be with you, fuck you. You know, it's like once I get you, and it's almost like this is what your person feels too. They're like, now if I really do let go of this karmic and I don't have that buffer and I go back to you, it's like, I know I'm going to have to do a lot to fix what I did. And most likely you're going to replace me with somebody else because you're going to be like, fuck you. You weren't here for me. You thought that, well, that all that was okay. So they're like, have so much anxiety. They have so much anxiety. They don't know what to do. You inspire me in so many ways. So it's again, they're like, you don't understand. You're my person. It's again, like you give me a reason to live. You inspire me. I can see life would be different, but you're like, yeah, I don't care. I'll come back for you. Please just give me time. It's like, be patient with me. And you're like, I've been patient enough. I don't have to do fucking shit for you. We have a telepathic bond. I can still feel you, of course, because this relationship transcends time and space. And it's almost like, again, they lost you in one lifetime and they see they're going to lose you in this lifetime too, because of their behavior. You are the person to make me feel this way. You are the first person to make me feel this way. Again, that's the soulmate twin flame relationship. That's again, they're realizing you're my person. You're my person. And look what I fucking did. Get emotional when I think of you. It's again, the person's so upset because they're like, again, I don't know how to handle this. I don't know how to fix this. And what it is you're like, you're not going to be able to fix it, buddy or girlfriend. You're not going to be able to. You're in your own patterns again, and this is what happens. They go back into their patterns where it's codependency on being connected to people that make them feel good about themselves, that make them feel strong. That's what the karmic does. They don't do anything. Oh, I need you, like a damsel in distress. Like, I need you. You need to be here. You need to help me. That person doesn't need you. And I feel like you are someone that's strong. Again, they feel that they're supposed to do something with you, again, on this higher level. And they pretty much know that they blew it. Again, and there's so much passion between you and them. There's just so much passion. I've never felt this type of love before. The depth of it is inspiring but overwhelming. And the overwhelming part is, again, the unknown. And it's like, oh my God, like you could really hurt me. Even with the karmic can't hurt them because they don't care. They don't have those feelings for them. They're able to guilt them. They feel important with them. They feel responsible for them. However, it's like, you get mad, so what? It's like I've hurt you 1,000 times. I don't really care. It's again, that's why it's a karmic. So let's see why you attracted this person. Because right now, what we see is nothing. We see a lot of they're up in their head, longing, seeing the regret, seeing how they treated you. I would say they're on the verge of a dark night of the soul because they don't know what to do. So I'm feeling like the universe is going to conspire to shift this person's reality, whether they want to or not, because it's not like they're giving the karmic anything either. It's like the karmic's getting a little bit tired too, because they can feel that someone else is there. They see that this person isn't really as chipper. And your person doesn't stick around there all the time. I feel like they go in, they go out, they go into because they're trying to be like, we're not together. I'm just helping you. But the karmic doesn't care. It's like, I don't care, and I'm holding you up. And that is the realization that your person finally has. I'm being manipulated. I'm being manipulated. And in that, I got played. And how am I going to explain this to my Virgo? Again, disassociated. So when we look at the inner child ones, disassociation is detachment. It's like when we go through trauma, it's almost like we're watching it. And I kind of feel like that's what happened with your person, again, being brought up with the karmic, and now how they feel now, because it's like it's a trauma response. They abandon themselves, and what they're afraid of is now that you're going to abandon them. And this is a real love. You symbolize love. They know on every level and every fiber of their being that they were supposed to be with you. They know it. And so it's creating a lot of trauma. And I feel like them holding back from you created that also. So you both grew up because these are inner child wounds and you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So you had the same wounds, trauma, and that severe trauma happens when you grow up in an alcoholic family, when you grow up in a very toxic environment where one person has all the power and seems to be narcissistic, and the other person is like never emotionally getting what they need, always nervous, has a lot of anxiety, is all up in their head. And it's almost like they continue to go back into relationships like this. It winds up because the karmic is very much like that, very toxic, wants to control, does not care what your person wants. It's like, it's what I want. You owe this to me. And so it's created so much detachment that it was, like I said, your person became paralyzed because disassociation, when we experience that, there's a numbing. It's like, and it's when we get stuck in the freeze. fight, flight, freeze, and we don't do anything. So you're looking at this person, you're like, okay, you didn't do a fucking thing this whole time. No, they were in this energy. And I feel like it pushed you to actually go into that energy too, but that was to go back to look at your inner child wounds. Look, two came out where you didn't play and you weren't allowed to be vulnerable. Children need to be vulnerable. That's how they find themselves. So automatically growing up where you didn't feel safe. So what I feel like is your person associates relationships with not feeling safe. And that can happen to you too, where you don't feel safe. Not being able to have your unique unfoldment process, not being able to speak your truth and express yourself without consequences, again, stops that. And if we can't do that, then we're not playing. And how do we find ourselves? We have to go out and play, right? And going out and playing means discovering who we are. Like children, they may go out and they don't know what they're doing for the day, but they meet up with a friend and then they see a cardboard box and then they imagine that that box is going to be their playhouse. They drag it 12 blocks, they put it in their backyard, and then they have this playhouse, right? And then it rains and then there's no more playhouse. So they have to venture out again. So it's when we're playing, we learn how to co-create with the universe. We learn how God supports us through bringing us things in the universe. So again, if we don't go out and explore and we don't play, we don't find ourselves, then we don't really ever feel safe because we don't know who we are. And then we wind up becoming too dependent on relationships because there's a sense of not feeling and coming more from our triggers and behaviorisms. And I kind of feel like your person wound up with the karmic because of that, that karmic had a very dominant, that karmic came into your person's life at a very difficult time in your person's life. And then what happened is they took full control to get what they wanted, to get their place. And your person did never set boundaries. They got overstimulated, which happens from disassociation, right? We stay frozen. And so what happens is we just come from our old patterns, our own conditioning, which worked when we were growing up. But now they become the most sabotaging things because we wind up creating in our adulthood the same exact type of environment that we grew up in, which I feel like your person saw somebody have their power taken away and they keep on going through experiences like this. This is also part of the reason why the karmic has so much power. Again, suppression, that one just kind of fell out. So we're going to take it. So, and by where they were suppressed, right? And suppressed is like, you're not allowed to speak your truth. You're not allowed to do anything. It's like your expression doesn't matter. It's what I want. That's real narcissism. And I feel like your person's connected to a narcissist and they just never learned how, they never healed from their childhood trauma of watching that happen to a parent. So they inherited it and now they really would need to recondition themselves from it. And I feel like for you, well, not being connected to this person also suppressed you because you couldn't say anything because of what they were going through. But to integrate is we have to forgive, right? So I kind of feel like being vulnerable, your person like didn't really mean for that to happen. And if they come back and they do express themselves and you do have feelings, you have to, person needs to be able to feel safe in a relationship where they're not going to get yelled at or judged because they made the wrong decision. This is how intimacy problems happen. This is how we actually recreate the same types of karmic relationships. You have to let this person be vulnerable. You have to actually be vulnerable and where they can open up and express themselves and feel safe enough to do that. They weren't allowed to do that in childhood. So again, reparenting. And if you want to be vulnerable, then you have to do it for this person. And possibly they have more of a problem doing it. And this is why you had to go through the experience where you showed them what it looked like. because that's what twin flames do. Again, their approach to life is completely different. So you're like, I'm always have to be the one that's nice. And Spirit says, that's your gift. You're more spiritual, you're more intuitive, you're more in touch. Again, and that's really how you heal disassociation from, which is this detachment. It's like from trauma, like I can't be safe. It's like so that you guys can play together. And when you play together, you find yourself and you will no longer be suppressed, holding on to this old energy that no longer exists. So I feel like, again, you two grew up in a very similar environment where one parent had all the power. Now, maybe in their parents' relationship or their caregivers' relationship, the father was more dominant, where you, the mother, was more dominant. And so the twin flame journey is about integration of the wounds that were not integrated due to those environments. And that's through the passion of unconditional love, which is what you're learning, which is going to require being vulnerable. All right. I'm going to leave that there, Virgo. I hope you resonated. I always almost forget. I always try to ask Spirit before I leave it there. Like, what is the energy that we can pull into the situation to make it even better? What should we be aware of? What does the universe want us to know? What does God want us to know? Inner strength. Nothing moves me from my path to light because I have complete confidence in myself. I realize my innate qualities and abilities and know that with God, I can do anything. All the power I need is within me. So it's about not losing yourself. It's again, what happens is in codependent relationships is that we don't like, we're not strong within ourselves. So what this is saying is don't deter from your path. This person is helping to enhance your path, to help you along on your path, and vice versa. But don't get caught up in their trauma. Don't get caught up in their wounds. Don't get caught up in getting triggered by them. It's again, nothing's perfect. However, we tend to think that soulmate twin flame relationships are because there's a lot of passion and unconditional love. This person's not perfect. So it's going to require you to have your inner strength, and that's your connection to God. That's your connection to unconditional love. By doing what you love is always your connection to the higher self, which is God, which is the universe. And the universe always has your back to bring you what you need. So all you need to do is make sure you're strong within yourself. I'm going to now really leave it there, Virgo. And again, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, don't forget to write the word of the video in your comment bar. And that word is intolerance. Not dealing with it anymore. Not tolerant to it. Talk to you all soon, Virgo. Bye-bye. Okay, where did it go? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? It's still recording. Okay, good. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, windows are popping up all over the place. That was crazy. All right, I'm really gonna end it now. Bye.